What's up, everybody? This is Jose with Oakland Latinos United, aka Oakland Latinos Unidos, the voice of the Latino community in the Bay Area, California, YouTube, and beyond. Well, I'm on here with another Barrio tour, but this Barrio tour is going to be more of a historical Barrio tour. Those of you who watch my videos long enough know that I specialize in Bay Area Chicano raza history. That's my specialty. And a few years back, I was curious of what the history of Latinos and Chicanos was, and raza was in Richmond. And I couldn't, just like Oakland, I couldn't find much info until I started stumbling on some stuff. And I want to share some of my research. So I'm down here on, this is C Street, and down there is West Nevin. I guess you could say this is the west side, or you could even say it's central, because central's up the street. And this is the old part of town, like the old downtown area of Richmond. And from what I researched, this used to be the first Mexican, Chicano, Latino barrio in Richmond, California. And it was basically down here, anything below, I believe, 5th Street all the way to C Street, between McDonald and Barrett, was where all the Mexicans used to live back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. And the first Mexicans that came here came to work for the Santa Fe Railroad. So if you could see over there in the distance, I don't know if you can see some rail cars over there. That's the Santa Fe. Back then it was called Atchison and Topeka Santa Fe Railroad. Today it's called Burlington Northern Santa Fe. So the Santa Fe rail yard has been there for a long time. And the Santa Fe Railroad used to hire a lot of Mexicans and a lot of Native Americans to work in the rails. And they actually had a village for Native Americans in the rail yard, but the Mexicans that used to work for the rails used to live in this area. And also many Mexicans would work in some of the industry that was around here, and even at the time some of the agricultural that was in Richmond, because Richmond was partially an agricultural town. Many Mexicans settled here and in North Richmond as well. There was a lot of redlining, so if you were Mexican, you couldn't really live anywhere past this area at the time, from what I read. And let's take a little tour. So the first, those apartments we're about to show you in the distance are called the St. John's apartments. I'm going to do a little driving today while I'm talking. But those apartments over there are called the St. John's. You see them over there. It's on Nevin and like I said, C Street. And those apartments back in the days is where it used to be like a small housing project. And what was there was something called section housing. And that's where the Mexicans that used to work for the railroads, a lot of them used to be housed there back in the days before these apartments were here. And the other Mexican families, they lived all around these little neighborhoods over here, off of B Street, A Street, off of Nevin, off of Barrett. And this was kind of like the area where most of the Mexicanos lived. There was a place, there was a church up there called St. Mark's, where a lot of Mexicans used to go to. There was also a lot of businesses that opened up around here. There used to be a place called La Perla, which is down the street. I'm about to show you. There used to be a place called Gonzalez Mexican Restaurant. There used to be a movie theater called El Rio that used to show Mexican movies back in the 40s and 50s, like the Jorge Negrete and Pedro Infante movies. And so basically most of the original Mexicans and Chicanos that lived here lived in this area. And when World War II happened, a lot of African Americans were brought here to work in the Kaiser shipyards, because the Kaiser shipyards were in Richmond. But also a lot of Chicanos came from Nuevo Mexico, Texas, Arizona, the Central Valley. A lot of Chicanos came here to work. That used to be, back in the days, La Perla Mexican Restaurant. Today it's something else. And let me turn here. I got a fucking bunch of idiots behind me. So yeah, this neighborhood has a lot of history with the old raza. Like I said, during World War II, a lot of Chicanos came from New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, from the Central Valley as well, to work in the shipyards and to work in some of the other industries. Braceros also came to work in the railroads. You know what I mean? So like that, we're on Barrett and 4th Street. So yeah, now you guys know what this neighborhood was like a long time ago. Also during World War II, a lot of African Americans came to this area. But yes, the first Mexican neighborhood in Richmond used to be down here by 3rd, by 4th, 1st, A, B, C Street. This was the original Mexican neighborhood of Richmond, California, back in the the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. There was also a small community in North Richmond as well. So yeah, so that's part of my research that I did about Richmond. As you guys know, I've done tons of research about Oakland. I want to spread it to other Bay Area cities. But yeah, this is, we're back over here on Barrio and B Street. You can see the Santa Fe Rail Yard and the Chevron refinery down there. And right here, there used to be a long time ago a church called the Baptist Mexican Church, and it was during the time of the World War II that church was down here. So yeah, so like that, you guys know, this is true facts that I'm speaking. The first Mexican neighborhood in Richmond used to be down here by Barrett and A Street and B Street, C Street, First Street, all the way up to 5th is where most of the original Mexicanos that came to Richmond lived. So hopefully you get a little historical context of Richmond Raza history. And once again, this is Jose with Oakland Latinos United, bringing you the best Bay Area information, history of Raza and Chicano culture. Late.